I was saying earlier, thank God we didn't have to do the national anthem for all of Jose's players, right? We would have missed the first half. He looked over at me, I looked over at him, and he was like, if we do that, we're going to have to do the Cuban and the Italian one. It'd have been like a concert instead of a basketball game. But we got through it okay.
Geno, a nice way for Gabi to play her last regular season game here. I mean, she just did a little bit of everything like she often does.
You know, watching her play, I think, you know, we've said this a bunch of times during the course of the year. You know, the people that came out watching her play in person is pretty special. You know, when she's doing some of the things that she does, and there just haven't been a lot of players that I've seen, and I've seen a lot of players that can kind of get a crowd excited the way she does, and it's not just, you know, at one end of the floor. It's a little bit of everything, you know, to play defense the way she did, to rebound the way she did, and to pass the way she did. She's come a long way in her 4 years. Couldn't be happier for her. It was a terrific way for her to have her senior night.
Geno, this is your 10th. Sorry. This is your 10th undefeated regular season. Can you kind of put that in perspective?
10 undefeated seasons, regular season. I guess that they're hard to do, or I've always said they're hard to do, otherwise more people would do it. And I want to say that we all still celebrate and appreciate what we're doing, but it's one of those things where it really doesn't register until after, you know, and then after you look back and you go, and I can't believe we did that again. You know how hard that is to do that once. But you know, sometimes we get so fixated on what the next 9 games look like, and even more importantly, the 6 after these 3, if you're fortunate enough. You know, like I told the players in the locker room, you know, the only thing you're guaranteed is you're entitled to 29 of them. That's how many you get. That's it. And then after 29, you're allowed to have 1 more. And then if you're in the tournament, you can have another one. So in reality, we either have 2 games left in our season, or we have 9, and anywhere in between there. And what's happening is, or what's happened, is those have become the focal point of our program. So it's after the fact that you look and go, man, we had a great year. So it's good to be reminded of it. Thank you.
Geno, how would you describe, sorry,
yeah.
How would you describe the impact that he has had on this program over the course of her 4 years?
You know, from the time that she walked on campus, Kia's been, if nothing else, an amazing competitor. And it started, you know, the first couple workouts. You know, she didn't start the first 2 games of our season, her freshman year, and we lost one of them, and she's only lost one since, I think. I'm not sure, but she just is an unbelievable competitor. That's the best way I can describe it. And even when she didn't know what she was doing, even when she was a freshman and we're playing at Notre Dame, her first like big game that she played a lot in, she was she was probably scared out of her wits and played amazing. And that's the way it's been every single day, no matter what. It doesn't change. She comes to practice, and every day, it's the same thing every day. And I think that's a great example for our younger players, for sure.
Geno,
you had Azure all last season to practice, but is this what you expected of her, seeing her, you know, get the ball in the lane and just be like she seems like she's been here forever, the way she can get the ball, she can score, she can help defensively alter shots, and it seems like she's in a really good spot right now.
Yeah, she is feeling pretty good about herself right now. You know, she's on a roll. She made 1 3, and you know, she didn't have much time. It's a short month. I told her she's been treating us to 1 a month. She reminded me that she has 2 this month, but it was a special occasion. It was senior night, so I don't know if that counts. But that's all she's ever had. So her whole identity was, if I make a lot of shots on the outside, then I'm playing good. And we're trying to show her that that's not what defines playing well. I mean, shots you make from the perimeter. And she's starting to do so many other things that our team needed. So tonight you got a chance to see a bunch of those things at both ends of the floor, I hope. Somebody like that could be the difference between, you know, playing the last weekend and not playing the last weekend.
Geno, 2-part question, if you don't mind. First part is, you know, we see what you say to the parent, the players, you know, when you give them a hug, when they come out to get their jersey and all that. But what's your message generally for the parents? What you try to tell them? And second part is, Cincinnati got the final bye for the first round bye tonight in the 4 seed. Would you like to make a plug for the Bearcats coach?
Yeah. Well, I voted her for Coach of the Year, but maybe I'm biased. But I don't know where they were picked. But it wasn't anywhere near 4th. Okay? And she's done a terrific job this year. She deserves to be Coach of the Year. As far as the parents, the first thing I say to the parents when I see them, when they walk out there, is I say congratulations. Because I think that's a time to congratulate and to celebrate the fact that, you know, their daughter just withstood 4 years of something not easy. You know, going to school, going away from home, you know, the pressure of playing in this program, you know, the ups and downs, the great times, the bad times, and here they are, and it's senior night, and their parents get a chance to share it with them. So my message to them is always congratulations. This is as much your senior night, excuse me, as it is theirs.
Geno, different players improve on different things or change some over the course of their college career. Could you just talk about what's changed or altered most about Kia, and the same thing for Gabi?
You know, for Kia, it's been a kind of an interesting journey, because she's taken it upon herself to be like the one that we count on defensively, day in and day out. And that started back her freshman year. And she's a guard on the Canadian national team. Now, you know, when she got here to us, I remember saying to her, her coach on the Canadian team, I said, you know, it's been like a real headache coaching Kia. We had Stewie and, you know, we had all those guys in Tuck and whatever. I said, I can't get her to throw the damn ball into the post. I've never seen a kid that can't pass the ball into the post. How the hell's that happen? And she just looked at me, and then I started laughing. I looked at her and said, I don't know how many times we played Canada and how many times I've seen them play. They never throw the ball into the post. So she got here, and she couldn't understand what all the fuss was about. And I said, all right, we need to get better at that. So she's become a much, much better passer. And she wasn't a great three-point shooter when she got here. And she's become as good as anybody in the country. So she knew exactly what she wasn't really good at, and she got better at it. And it's all because of how hard she works at it. And Gabi, you know, that was one of those, you know, kid's a great player in college football, and he comes to the pros, and he never again plays the position that he played in college. However, all the things that they did in high school all of a sudden helped them be really good at their new spot. So it's rare that you have a player that can do what Gabi can do around the basket and defensively, that can handle the ball and pass it the way she does it. And again, starting out freshman year, she had a completely different freshman year than Kia did. Kia played all the time, played 30 minutes, and Gabi was up and down, played some games, didn't play at all, hardly played in the NCAA tournament. So it would have been easy for her to just say, well, you know, what's the point? And she made herself into an All-American. Those are the kind of stories, I think, that hopefully Connecticut basketball is really proud of, and it's all about. Now, it's one thing to get Stewie in here and go, wow, you know, what a shocker. She was Player of the Year 4 times. Well, no kidding. That's what she was born to do. For somebody like Gabi, that's something that she had to, you know, she had to learn a whole new way of playing basketball after missing 2 years of high school. That kid's really worked hard. She's come a long, long way.
Geno, now that it is March, next time the ball goes up, and it's the time that's the focal point for your program, you've talked for quite a few weeks about how particularly the seniors want to make sure this ends the right way, and they've always had this circled like everyone else following the program. But
Yeah.
how impressive is it that that hasn't really showed in their play along the way? It doesn't seem like they've lost focus along the way in these first 29 at all.
You know, we talk a lot about what the future is, and nobody knows. And I reminded them again today. You know, we could celebrate what we did in the past, but you know, we have no idea what the future is, and we have no idea whether or not we're going to be in the Final Four or not. We don't know if we're going to be playing for the national championship or not. The only thing we have is the moment that we're in right now, and we got to make that moment great every night. Because if we do that, then all we'll know is how to make every moment great. And too many, I remember back when Svetlana was playing for us, she finally came in one day and she goes, "Coach, why do you talk about national championships all the time?" I go, "Because that's the goal here. Don't you think everybody already knows the goal here? Why do you have to talk about it every day?" And I tell you know what, she's right. So from that point on, we almost never talk about what's at the end of the year. We just keep talking about, this is what we got to do today, this is what we got to do tomorrow, this is what happened last night, this is what we got to get better at. Like, we had that 43-0 run the other day. The players are all like, I didn't know we were doing that. We're so caught in the moment of what we're doing that you wake up one morning and you go, by the way, we're in the NCAA tournament, and all we know how to do is take advantage of the moment. That's the only way I know how to do it.
Geno, can you quickly reflect on 29 and out, how you got there, and what do you want to get accomplished before Sunday when you play your first game?
I mean, arguably, this was one of the tougher schedules that we've had. But, you know, we had 4 starters back, so you would assume that we would be able to handle something like that. But nobody goes in thinking we're going to win them all. You know, you're not going to win them all. And sometimes you do, so you get lucky. And you're fortunate. The thing for me is, and I told the players this was the hardest year that I've had in the last 4 or 5 years. Easy. There hasn't even been another one that's close. This was really hard. There was a lot of stuff that we had to deal with this year. A lot. And there were times when, you know, our record was the furthest thing from my mind and from our players' minds. Because there were weeks where it felt like we were losing every day. Every day felt like a loss. Every practice was a loss. Every game was a loss. Every film session was a loss. Everything felt like we were losing because everything was a struggle. And maybe you have to go through those times so that you can appreciate what you know, what you do, and you look back and you go, wow, you know, in the middle of all that, we went 29-0. Some years it's easy, you know. Tuck and Stewie's senior year. You know, October 15th came and I said, hey guys, call me when the NCAA tournament starts. I don't even want to talk to you until then, because there's nothing for us to do, you know. All we have to do is show up and play our A game, and we can't possibly lose. I never felt like that this year. Not one time. I mean, there were a couple big games where I thought, I don't think these guys know how good our team is. There were a couple where I felt like that, and that was pretty exciting. When people go, you know, these guys are pretty good, and they had no idea how good we really are when the chips are down. So that, I was proud of that.
In the next few days,
What are we gonna work on? I don't know. I have no idea. With these guys today, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can work on something right now. You know, this is how I described it. You could say to some of our players, hey, you know, today's Monday. I think we need to think about doing this. Could you go tell Pat or Jeff? Go tell them that. And they'll come over to you guys. Coach says something about next Monday, but I don't know what he wants. Huh? You just, from here, and you walked over there. So that's kind of the world that we've inherited now in basketball. You just hope that half of what we talk about registers. And so far, so good. But I'm not like celebrating at home, to be honest with you.
You know, did the game look any different without the glasses?
Yeah, you know, there were a couple of times when I said, this can't be what's happening. There were a couple of things that we did that I said, maybe I'm seeing too much and I'm complaining too much. Maybe if I saw less, I'd be happier. And it didn't work. Even with cloudy eyes, I still saw it. Jesus, Mary and Joseph.
You know, when you
Kid just can't help herself, huh? She's got to smack somebody every game. Like that kid that got the three-point play.
3-point play with 3-shot foul.
The ball went in.
Oh.
Second half, right? Then it kid went down, banked it in, whack. There's like 2 seconds left on the shot clock. That one. She can't help it. That's who she is. That, I'm telling you. So just stuff like that, like Kia. And she just looks at you like, I'll smack you if you don't shut up. That's who she is. That's who she is.
when you talk about the inconsistencies, or how difficult it was this year, is it just because of the inconsistencies, the lack of focus, the injuries? What was it?
No, it was everything. The injuries, the fact that we couldn't get a lot of help off the bench. You know, 6 players that you're trying to incorporate. So more than half of your team, almost, is completely oblivious to what you're saying. You know, and yet the object is to win a national championship, and you got 6 people that have never played in the NCAA tournament. So it's a struggle when you've got to deal with that. Now, I know everybody watching, all the other coaches in America going, I'll take that struggle every year with the guys you have starting. Yeah, I would too. I'm not sitting here saying I'm, you know, giving it back. I'm just saying, relative to some of our other seasons, this was difficult because there was very little margin of error for our starters. And then you have all these guys sitting there that, you know they're just not going to be able to help you in a big game. So what are you going to do?